I want to start this episode with something that I wish someone had said to me 10 years ago. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. Not your metabolism, not your hormones, not your willpower, not your discipline. There's nothing wrong with you. What happened is this. For the last 20, maybe 25 years, you learned to put your body last. You managed a career, you managed a family, you managed other people's needs, other people's crises, other people's timelines. And your body, your incredible patient body, it kept it going, it adapted, it held everything. And now, it is asking you, not loudly, not dramatically, but persistently, to finally pay attention. This is not failure. This is not your body betraying you. This is your body doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is asking you to listen. And that is what this podcast is about. In the Chinese calendar, we are in 夏至, the moment when light reaches its absolute peak. In traditional Chinese medicine, 夏至 is governed by the heart. At the heart in Chinese medicine is not just a pump. It is the seat of consciousness, of joy, of the capacity to feel what is true. And here is what I find interesting about this particular moment in the year. The days are longest. There is more light than at any time. And yet, how many of us feel the most exhausted right now? You are doing everything right. You are sleeping, you are exercising, or trying to. You are eating reasonably well, and still, at 2 in the afternoon, there is a heaviness that no amount of coffee quite touches. TCM has a name for this. It is called summer qi depletion. The body's heat has expanded outward for months, and the inner resources have not been replenished. Your body is not broken. It's following a completely natural seasonal pattern, one that modern life simply never told you about. I am Chun Zhong. I am Danish Chinese. I live in northern Jutland, and for the last 3 decades, I have worked in the intersection of 2 very different ways of understanding the body, the self, and the world. I have worked as a court interpreter for Danish police. I have worked as a cross-cultural consultant, helping Danish and Chinese organizations understand each other across a gap that is not just linguistic, but deeply philosophical. I have written a self-help book called Breaking to Bloom, and I have spent the last 10 years building something I called the Calm Strength Method, a program rooted in TCM wisdom, strength training, and the radical idea that your body is not your enemy. I built it because I needed it, because I was the woman I described, carrying everything, listening to no one, least of all myself. And when I finally stopped fighting my body and started working with it, everything changed. That is what I want to share with you in this series. Let me ask you something. At 35, if you pushed hard in a workout and ate less for a week, your body responded, right? You felt results. You felt in control. At 48 or 52, you do exactly the same thing, and nothing happens. Or worse, you feel more depleted than before, and the voice in your head says, try harder. You are getting lazy. You are getting old. That voice is wrong. Not motivationally wrong, physiologically wrong. Here is what actually changed. After 40, the relationship between stress and recovery in the body fundamentally shifts. The cortisol response, your body's primary stress hormone, begins to have a different half-life. It stays elevated longer. High-intensity approaches that once worked now keep your nervous system in a low-grade fight or flight state. And a fight or flight nervous system cannot build strength, cannot lose weight efficiently, cannot rest deeply, because biologically it believes it is still in danger. This is not weakness. This is physiology, and it is completely reversible when you understand it. Western fitness science is excellent at measuring output. How much weight you lifted, how fast your heart rate recovered, how many calories you burned. What it has historically been poor at is measuring context. What season is it? What is the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity? What is the emotional load you are carrying alongside the physical load? TCM has been asking these questions for more than 2,000 years. In Chinese medicine, the body is not a machine to be optimized. It is a living system in constant dialogue with its environment, with the season, with the organs, energetic circles, with the quality of qi flowing through specific pathways at specific times of day. This is not mystery. This is a different epistemology, a different way of knowing what the body needs. And for women over 45 in particular, this perspective is not just interesting, it is practically transformative. Take the concept of yin and yang. In TCM, yin represents rest, depth, cooling, receptivity. Yang represents movement, heat, activity, expansion. The hormonal shifts of Pre-menopause and menopause are, from a TCM perspective, a natural transition toward greater yin. The body is not declining, it is shifting its dominant energy. Fighting that shift with more yang, more intensity, more pushing, more depletion is working directly against your body's intelligence. Working with it means something different. It means building strength without depleting yin. It means learning which times of day your energy is naturally highest and scheduling your most demanding work, physical or mental, in those windows. It means treating rest not as reward but as medicine. I want to speak to something that does not appear in any fitness program I have ever seen, but that I believe is at the root of what so many women over 45 are experiencing. You have spent decades in service to your children, to your partner, to your colleagues, your clients, your parents. You learned, as most women of your generation learned, that your needs comes after everyone else's. That asking for time for yourself is selfish. That your body's signals are inconvenience to be managed rather than messages to be heard. And the result of 20 years of this is not just physical depletion. It is a kind of disconnection, a growing unfamiliar with your own interior. You have become so practiced at reading other people's needs that you have lost fluency in your own body's language. That is what I mean when I say nothing is wrong with you. The disconnection is not a character flaw. It is the entire predictable result of a set of circumstances most professional women of your generation share. And it is completely possible to reverse it, not by adding more discipline, but by learning a different kind of attention. That attention is the foundation of the calm strength method. Let me tell you what the next 6 weeks look like, because I am building this series with a specific intention. Each episode follows one solar term, one moment in the Chinese seasonal calendar, and uses it as a lens to look at something in your body is dealing with right now, in the exact season, not in a genetic way, in a way that is specific to where you are in your life. In 2 weeks, we will talk about why fatigue in the heat is not what you think it is, and the single most important thing you can do before August to shift it. In 4 weeks, I will walk you through one of the core practices from the calm strength method. You will not need any equipment. You will not need more than 15 minutes, and you will feel the difference in your body within 48 hours. Not because I'm promising you a miracle, but because your body is actually very responsive when you stop fighting it. And on August 10th, I will be opening the Calm Strength Method program. Not because the date is arbitrary, because 立秋 is the traditional moment for renewal, for the inward turn, for beginning something that will carry you through the cold month with more strength than you went into summer with. Before the next episode, I want to offer you something practical. I have written a short morning guide. It takes about 7 minutes to follow. It is grounded in TCM principles, and it is the simplest way I know to begin to practice, to listening to your own body before the day begins. You can find it at 纯中.card.co, and I will put the link in the description and the show notes. It is free. It is a beginning. And if anything in this episode felt like it was speaking directly to you, if you find yourself thinking, yes, that is exactly it, I would genuinely love to know. Leave a comment here on YouTube or find me on LinkedIn. I read every message. I am Chun Zhong. This is the Calm Strength Method podcast, and I will see you at the next solar term.